Have you ever wanted to sneak around your office, crawling through vents, sneaking past security, trying to uncover a mystery in your workplace? Well, Budget Cuts is a game that lets you do just that. Budget Cuts is a narrative game where robot workers are taking over your job at Transcorp and all the human workers are being taken to human resources and never seen again. The game starts with you being contacted by someone over the phone named Winta. She lays down the plot and introduces you to the translocator. The game is about a 4-ish hour campaign depending on how long it takes you to solve some of the creative puzzles. It has you crawling through passages, sneaking past guards, searching for clues, solving puzzles, and throwing knives at guards that dare get in your way. The most unique aspect of this game is the translocator. You get it in the opening sequence and it controls your movement. It shoots out a marker that lands on the ground. You can aim the marker to bounce it off walls or shoot through vents. When this marker lands, it opens up a viewport that you could see the perspective from the marker. This is a great way to peek around corners or behind walls. You can recall the marker, or you can press the grip button to translocate yourself to that new position. Holding the grip will translocate you stealthily, and a quick tap will move you there faster. This gives you a high-tech Mission Impossible 007 spy feel that takes sneaking around to the next level. But it can get a little touchy at times. Shooting the marker around objects or in tight spaces or corners can be a little touch and go. It might bounce around, ultimately ending up in an area you weren't aiming for. And although the movement feels unique, this whole method of shooting the puck and then hitting the grip button to move there can feel clunky. And in many ways, it feels like a step back in terms of VR movement options. You are contacted by Winta to figure out what's happening to all the humans. This drives the entire narrative of the whole campaign. You never see or interact with Winta other than over the phone. As a matter of fact, you never really see any characters other than the generic robot workers or the security guards. This lack of character interactions really limits your investment into them. Without seeing character emotions or having their presence, it really is a barrier to your connection to the plot. It's hard to feel despair for humans when I don't see a single human in the entire game. I don't even feel like I'm a human because the game doesn't give me a character or tell me who I am in this whole plot. But having Winta talk to you on the phone does bring a little life to the game.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hi, my name is Winta, and look, we can do the cute introductions later.
Her voice acting sounds natural and believable, which is very important because she's the one that's narrating this entire conflict for you. The story doesn't really arc or progress too much, but it does have a nice climb towards the end with an interesting reveal once it's over. But it does feel like it leaves more questions than answers. So with this game being a linear narrative puzzle-ish game, it has to do creative things to be replayable. They have 3 different difficulty levels, but most of the challenge comes from figuring out the puzzle aspect, so increasing the difficulty really doesn't change the fact that after completing the game, you know how all the pieces fit together. They also try to extend the gameplay by hiding items for you to go and collect. This is good and all, but the game doesn't really do a good job of telling you where to go out there and collect them, or give you clues as to where and when in the story to go find them. I have no incentive to go back there and try to find these, and it just doesn't really seem enjoyable. And the items that I did find only happened by chance, and I had no idea what they were when I found them. So half the game I was running around with this thing in my inventory that really doesn't do anything. It would be nice if there were challenges or anything else to help encourage me to play this game again. Just to be clear, 4 or so hours in a VR narrative really is a good amount when you compare it to other VR games of this nature that's out there in the market right now. But it would be really nice to just squeeze a little bit more lifespan out of this game. This game has a clean aesthetic and a cohesive art style, but it does feel repetitive. There's only really 2 character models in the game. A humorous, passive-looking worker robot that has funny one-liners and is hilarious to mess with. And the other surveillance camera security-looking robot that looks aggressive and has a military style. There's a strong use of color. White and gray rooms notify you that it's a safe area, and there's a lot of red when you should be more alert and watch out for guards. They use colors in a lot of different ways, and even the secret passages have their own kind of unique look to them. The atmosphere does get repetitive after a while. The game doesn't evolve much from the office cubicle style that's everywhere. The music is really subtle in the background, and it often has no background music playing at all. But it does pick up to this frantic score when you're detected by the guards. Now I want to talk about user interface real quick. I know it's not the most interesting thing to talk about, but the user interface is really natural and it's quick and easy to use. And it's small details like these that sometimes go unnoticed, but it plays a huge role in your enjoyment of the game. When you press the inventory button, all your items fan out in front of you, making it quick and easy to just grab or just to see your inventory. And it's really just as easy to add items to it. Swapping between your tools is just as clean and simple and oddly satisfying. This is a beautiful framework for a VR game moving forward. My only gripe is that the tool interface is a little underutilized because most of the game you'll be using the same setup with a translocator in one hand and the grab tool in the other. To echo a lot of the same feelings I have about this game, the combat feels smooth but lacks depth. Combat feels too short and too easy once you figure out the gimmick. Luring guards around the corner and picking them off one by one with throwing knives, all without alerting anyone else, is almost like shooting fish in a barrel. And there's no variety in how you want to take out guards. There's not many VR games out there that accomplish what Budget Cuts is trying to do. Have an engrossing narrative with challenging stealth gameplay, with new innovative mechanics that push immersion and presence to the next level. In many ways, they do reach these lofty goals, but never at any point do you feel like they're breaking through them. They have a nice narrative, but I never feel fully invested. They have a fresh take on movement, but it can feel a little sluggish. And instead of hands, we have this mechanical tool, and it detaches me from feeling embodied in my character. All of the ducking, crouching, and peeking through vents makes you feel immersed in this VR world. But oftentimes I get caught up in my cord, and the illusion of VR is broken when your head moves through the wall and the game cuts vision and sound, which happens a lot when moving through these tight spaces. It's a trade-off though, because movement like these help build the illusion, but it also helps to easily break it. I recommend this game as long as you know that it's about a 4, maybe 6 hour experience with little replayability. It's a good, polished game that shows a lot of promise and ambition from a great studio, neat corporation. And that was my review of Budget Cuts. I hope you lifers liked it. And as always, if you want to keep the pulse of the VR Lifer channel going, go ahead and become a lifer and hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And check out one of my previous videos. And until then, I'll see you lifers next time.